Okay, on today's episode of What's Jono Fixing on His Cars, we've got the WRX. So everything's been pretty good. I did actually burst one of the heater lines, so I've ordered some new ones of those. But ever since I installed this exhaust, I made up the bit that goes from the Apex AIG exhaust, or the cap back, to the dump pipe. And the way I did it was I bolted up two of these flanges. So two of these type flanges, and then I marked it with a piece of pipe. So one flange there with a piece of pipe in the middle, marked it, and then welded it on the bench, and it worked out okay. But it turned out it was slightly too short, and so where the hangers are, one of the exhaust hangers is like right up close to part of the chassis, and the exhaust doesn't quite sit how it should. It's okay for, getting me out of trouble when I first did it, but now sort of the exhaust bangs on downstairs, and since I changed the headers, it's not quite right. So the bloke who sold me this welder here, my TIG welder, he sent me a text because I get along fairly well with him, and he said, do you want to test, we've got these portable MIG welders, they're not much bigger than mobile phone in sort of footprint, would you be willing to test one for me? Initially I said no, because I didn't think I'd have much of a use for it. But then after doing the stuff with the dump pipe on the Cresta and the wastegate exit not quite lining up properly, I thought, you know what? I need to be able to tack the exhaust parts in place on the car. And what I didn't realize was you can use a MIG welder to tack stuff in place and then TIG weld it on the bench. I had no idea. Obviously, I'm a beginner welder. And when I recently installed some Kinagawa Killer Bee looking headers, and Oliver, my stepson, who is an actual fabricator, he showed me, he says, look, they've MIG welded this in place first, and then they've gone and tack welded it later. It was on, what was it on? No, it was on this. It was on the JZX screamer pipe. He showed me. He was like, yeah, look, they've MIG welded that there in place first, and then they've TIG welded over the top of it. So yeah, just there, you can see that they tacked this in place using a MIG. Anyway, so long story short, I got myself this little gasless MIG to tack things in place, and then I'll TIG weld them on the bench. So that's what I'm going to do today, hopefully, fingers crossed, is tack up a new bridge so that the Apex AIG120H exhaust sits where it should, and yeah, where the dump pipe is, etc. Now, last night after I'd had my Ambien, I thought I'd try and test it out, and I melted a bunch of holes in things. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to use this thing first before I just ignore that, okay? Worst comes to worst, I'll go get Oliver and he can give this thing a go. But like it all set up fine. Like Yeah, it's not turned on, is it? No. But yeah, it all turned on fine. I guess I'll show you what it looks like. So we've got a 15 amp box under there, a 15 amp lead. One thing that I did have to do was this roller in here. There's two sets of teeth. This is 0.8 millimeter wire, and I had the teeth on 1 millimeter. So I had to undo this, flip the thing over, put the 0.8 in, and then just adjust this, and now it runs perfectly. So yeah, once I got that all set up right, it's been pretty flawless. I do want to check what sort of wire I've got here. Gasless MIG wire, E71TGS. I wonder if that's even 4 mild steel. It doesn't, it looks like it's for stainless. I'm gonna have to look that up to make sure that I can even use that. But anyway, I've got to get the car jacked up and have a look what we're dealing with where the hangers are and all that kind of stuff, and unbolt the little bridge piece. So I'll show you that in a sec. So the cheap and cheerful gasless MIG did the job. I'll show you what I did if I can find it. Oh yeah. So I chopped the flange off as sort of square as I could, because I had that other flange, and then I got a bit of 3-inch here, and I actually had it cut at a taper, and then I cut it off square. And what I did was I bolted the flange up, and then I twisted the taper until it matched up with the rest of the exhaust. And then I couldn't get under there with my helmet, so I just put it in place, shut my eyes, and buzzed it in place. And then when I had enough tacks, oh yeah, I can obviously show you what I did here. So when I had enough tacks around this sort of area here, and then enough tacks on the flange, I've brought it over here to weld it completely. And so hopefully this now lines up with everything under there. I mean, there is the flex joint. Hopefully that works. But yeah, I just got to clean this up and put some paint on it. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to show you before. So I bought, I didn't even know this existed till the other day, a factory GD diffuser. So this goes under the bottom over there. This is the Cusco fitting kit for it. 672487S. And then there's also another Cusco bar that I have ordered that I didn't realize I needed. So it's basically 3 pieces. The factory GD diffuser, the Cusco mounting kit, and then there's also it's like a brace that goes underneath the sway bar mounts. Now, another thing is I discovered I'm only held on by one tail shaft bolt. So at the back where the tail shaft joins to the diff, there's only one bolt. So I've got to find 3 more and fix that. The diff is also leaking from both side seals, so I need to order those. But apart from that, it looks pretty healthy underneath. Now this one, I was taking off or going around a sharp corner. I just put some fuel in it, and it like hesitated. I thought, oh yeah, okay, so it's going to be one of the safeties. Sure enough, it was. I didn't think it'd be fuel pressure because I just filled it up with fuel pressure. Filled it up with fuel. And you can see there, GP limit 1 on, oil pressure 145 psi. If we go over to the general purpose limit 1 table, so it's it's 145 psi at just under 2,500 revs. The rev limit is between 2,000 and 3,000. So basically the oil pressure had dropped. Why did it drop? Because I needed to top up the oil, essentially. So I just went and checked it. It didn't even register on the dipstick. So I just put 700 mils of oil in it, and that brought it up full again. And yeah, that's why you have these safeties, I guess. I mean, the safety in this one and that one in regards to fuel pressure have identified problems a number of times. So yeah, it's also a front sump, and I had thought maybe I needed basically, because with the front sump, if you accelerate quickly, all the oil sloshes away from the pickup. And because I cornered fairly hard, I do believe that's what happened. But given that it wasn't quite topped up, that was probably why the oil pressure limit, safety went off. So yeah, that's about it. I don't know if you've seen in my other videos, I actually made a EMAP, an exhaust back pressure sensor sort of kit. And I thought I'd try build up another one. So this is in fact this is it here. It's a capillary line for a fridge or a freezer. You can probably find it via that part number, HS-1500. So this copper coil is 1500 long. The gold, if I can get it off, the gold nuts are in fact AN4. And so what I've got screwed into the end here is a weld-on stainless steel AN4 fitting. So if you haven't seen the previous video, that goes onto the exhaust manifold. This goes in a coil, and then this end goes up to I've got it over here. Here's one I prepared earlier. So this is an exhaust back pressure sensor kit. So this will have another one of those welded on or brazed on. This is a canister that I made very roughly, but I made from a piece of this tubing over here. Made some ends, and then where I've got this barb, which is what I had my purge on, that's where your sensor goes. And then this end goes to your exhaust manifold, and you can measure the exhaust back pressure. And so ideally you want less than 2:1. So if you're running 14 psi, you want less than 28 psi manifold pressure in your exhaust. If you've got too much pressure, your exhaust housing might be too small, etc., etc. So yeah, I just bought some more bits and pieces because I thought I'd experiment. There's also an O2 sensor bung on the new headers on this car, and I actually bought this piece, which is an M18 by 1.5, which is what an O2 sensor thread is. And then on the inside, it's 1/8 NPT. So what I can do is I can go from the O2 sensor bung, and instead of using one of these guys at this end, I'd have a 1/8 NPT to AN4 fitting, and that would go on there like that. Then this one will go to my canister, sensor, exhaust back pressure for this car. So there you go. That's what's been happening. I got to clean this up and paint it and cross my fingers that it all fits again. And yeah, leave us a like. It'll help other people find the videos. If you want to find out what else I've discovered that's wrong with this thing, click subscribe. Let's hope there isn't. And thanks for watching.